One, two, three, funk it.
There is no doubt that human activity is having a significant impact on our environment. These environmental impacts include depleting our natural resources, air and water pollution, climate change, destruction of habitat, and loss of biodiversity. Because of this growing concern, we need to learn how to live sustainably. Living sustainably will allow us to conserve our natural and limited resources more wisely so they will be available for future generations. Although more people are aware of the impacts we have on our environment, there are still people that choose to ignore scientific evidence or do not fully understand the consequence. Further, education and research are critical components in an effort to become more sustainable. Fortunately, younger generations are learning about the need to address environmental issues so that changes can be made to ensure our way of life is sustainable. Rising global population is hindering our ability to become sustainable, especially in poorer and developing nations. Empowering women through educational opportunities and family planning programs have been shown to decrease population in developed nations through demographic transition. Even though fertility rates are declining in developed nations, there has been a significant increase in resource consumption and the consumption of materials and goods and services. Although population control can be a touchy subject, it should be addressed as a solution to our overconsumption and need for sustainability. There are many things we need to change in the society to become sustainable for future. One thing is for certain, we all need to do our part to contribute to this effort, and there is no time like the present to change our ways. Environmental economics. Environmental and natural resource economics deals with economics of pollution control, policies, and economic incentives for dealing with population and the basic economic principle for the management of renewable and non-renewable resource. The purpose of this concentration is to teach people how to apply the principle and method of economics to real-world environmental problems. In this, people will learn the economic tools needed to examine the proper role of the public and private sector in the management of natural resources and the protection of the environment. In an attempt to determine these roles, people will consider policy options available for the elimination of externalities, the cost of such intervention, and the likelihood that such intervention will be successful. Moreover, environmental economics is an area of economics dealing with the relationship between the economy and the environment. Environmental economists study the economics of natural resources from both sides, their extraction and use, and the waste products returned to the environment. Environmental economists research the economics of environmental issues such as renewable energy use, construction of new hydroelectric power plants, or transnational pipelines, and pollution control measures. They may also conduct cost-benefit analysis of industrial activities or proposed regulation involving natural resources. usually using a suite of advanced statistical and computer software programs. They may also run sophisticated environmental modeling programs. Based on this analysis, they may develop cost-effective and sustainable policy recommendations and communicate them to policymakers through reports and presentation. Environmental economists may study or develop policy recommendations relating to 1. Externalities or unintentional effects on the environment or human health resulting from economic activity. 2. Permit trading, also referred to cap and trade. This approach was successfully used to address acid rain in the 1990s. It's also been proposed as a policy tool to address the release of the greenhouse gases that causes global warming. 3. Cost-benefit analysis of environmental regulations. 4. The economics of biofuels, waste management, land cleanup, and other environmental technologies and industry. 5. Evaluation, which aims to assign dollar values to natural resources. Valuation also deals with nature-provided ecosystem services, such as erosion prevention by trees or water filtering by plants. Environmental policy. Environmental policy is the commitment of an organization or government to the laws, regulation, and other policy mechanisms concerning environmental issues. These issues generally include air and water pollution, waste management, ecosystem management, maintenance of biodiversity, the management of natural resources, wildlife, and endangered species. For example, concerning environmental policy, the implementation of an eco-energy oriented policy at a global level to address the issue of global warming and climate change. Policies concerning energy or regulation of toxic substances, including pesticides and many types of industrial waste, are part of the topic of environmental policy. This policy can be deliberately taken to influence human activities and thereby prevent undesirable effects on the biophysical environment and natural resources, as well as to make sure that changes in the environment does not have unacceptable effects on humans. Republic Act 8749 or Philippine Clean Air Act of 1999. The law aims to achieve and maintain clean air that meets the National Air Quality Guideline values for criteria pollutant throughout the Philippines, while minimizing the possible associated impacts to the economy. Republic Act 9003 or Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. In partnership with stakeholders, the law aims to adopt a systematic and comprehensive and ecological solid waste management program that shall ensure the protection of public health and environment. This law ensures proper segregation, collection, storage, treatment, and disposal of solid waste through the formulation and adaptation of best eco-waste products. Republic Act 9275 or Philippine Clean Water Act of 2004. The law aims to protect the country's body water from pollution from land-based sources, which includes industries and commercial establishments, agriculture, community, or household activities. It provides for a comprehensive and integrated strategy to prevent and minimize pollution through a multi-sectoral and participatory approach involving all the stakeholders. Republic Act 6969 Toxic Substances, Hazardous and Nuclear Waste Control Act of 1990. The law aims to regulate, restrict, or prohibit the importation, manufacture, processing, sale, distribution, use, and disposal of chemical substances and mixtures that present unreasonable risk to human health. It likewise prohibits the entry, even in transit, of hazardous and nuclear waste and their disposal into the Philippine territorial limits for whatever purpose, and to provide advancement and facilitate research and studies on toxic chemicals. Presidential Decree Number 1586, or Environmental Impact Statement of 1978. The Environmental Impact Assessment System was formally established in 1978 with the enactment of Presidential Decree Number 1586 to facilitate the attainment and maintenance of rational and orderly balance between socio-economic development and environmental protection. Environmental Impact Assessment is a planning and management tool that will help the government, decision makers, the proponents, and the affected community address the negative consequence and risk on the environment. This process assures implementation of environmental friendly projects.
I think I'm losing my mind, trying to stay inside the line.